India is rising.
I love the fact that India is growing.
India will be the third largest economy soon.
I predict that the 21st century is going to be the Indian century.
A few weeks ago, I posted this video titled India's Hidden Crisis, and it sparked a debate in the comment section filled with both optimists and pessimists, with a lot of varying perspectives. Today, let's flip the narrative and talk about 3 reasons owing to which I feel India is on the path of becoming Sone Ki Chiriya once again, a global superpower. And don't worry, I will address my hypocrisy at the end of the video. But that said, let's get started with point 1, economic strength. In 2023, India surpassed China to become the world's most populous country. But unlike China, our population is not aging. In fact, it's getting younger. Countries like China and Japan and those in Europe are suffering from a big problem. The problem of an aging and reducing population. This is called population implosion. The sustainability rate needed for maintaining the population is a fertility rate of 2, which basically means 2 children per woman. But in the case of a lot of these countries, this number is way below 2. In fact, in the case of South Korea, this number has now fallen even below 1. It stands at somewhere around 0.7. But India? Well, we are sitting at a demographic goldmine. It is estimated that by 2030, India will have the world's largest working age population with a median age of just 29. That means more innovation, more productivity, and a workforce that will drive global economy for the coming decades. If leveraged properly, this alone can propel us to becoming a global superpower. But obviously, there are challenges that we need to solve. For instance, the education system that we talked about last time. But hey, Indians are doing incredibly well in various walks of life. And it is not because of our education system, but in spite of it. Just look at the kind of growth we've had over the last few decades. In 1985, we were a $300 per capita economy. 40 years later today, we are nearly a $3,000 per capita economy. In this same period, India has gone from being the 13th largest economy of the world to becoming the 5th largest economy of the world, and in the next 2 to 3 years, we should be at rank 3. Talking about rank 3, India also has the 3rd highest number of unicorns, which are startups valued at over $1 billion just after China and the US. We are no longer catching up. We are setting trends, be it in space tech with ISRO's landmark space missions, in digital payments where India has leapfrogged the world, or in internet access where we offer the most affordable mobile data, fueling a true digital revolution. Lastly, we are making steady strides in infrastructure, which for the longest time has been one area where we have truly struggled. Projects like Bharatmala are going to go a long way. Under Bharatmala, India is building 34,800 kilometers of highway, which will connect every part of the country. India, by the way, already has the 2nd longest road connectivity, and it's on the path of reaching number 1, even though in size we're a lot smaller than countries like US, China and Russia. There are several other projects as well, such as the dedicated freight corridor, the several ports that we're building and the airports. These projects will go a long way in making our logistics faster, cheaper and more efficient. This, by the way, has also been the biggest deterrent which has prevented us from becoming a manufacturing hub. But once these problems with infrastructure are resolved, and also owing to the recent developments in the trade war, I believe India will really come out to benefit immensely. Let's move to the next point now. A superpower must not just be strong from an economic perspective, it also must have military strength. India is rapidly expanding its defense capabilities and military technology. We already have the 4th strongest army in the world, and with a defense budget of $80 billion, it's only getting stronger. Over the last few years, we've also significantly strengthened our domestic indigenous defense technology industry. We are no longer dependent on other countries for defense technology. In fact, we have started exporting defense technology to a great degree. We have advanced projects going on such as the Tejas jets, INS Vikrant aircraft carrier, and the Agni 5 nuclear missiles. In fact, by 2047, it is estimated that India will become the 3rd largest exporter of defense equipment in the world. Most of this progress has been made in the last 10 to 12 years. And if you're really interested in knowing more about it, I really encourage you to watch my Make in India video. Anyway, India is investing heavily in cybersecurity and AI-powered defense technology as well, which is preparing us for modern warfare challenges. You all might be well aware of how India became the first country to land on Moon's South Pole. That was just a glimpse of India's rising space industry, which is estimated to be valued at over $100 billion by 2047. Now, some of you might be wondering, how is the space industry sort of related to military technology? Well, it is because satellites are very integral when it comes to surveillance, communications, and navigation. Now moving to the third pillar. A true superpower does not wield influence merely based on economic strength and military might. It does so through diplomatic strength, global leadership, and cultural outreach. Soft power is what I'm talking about, and India has been doing an incredible job when it comes to this. India has masterfully maintained a neutral yet diplomatic stance with various countries, fostering a strong relationship with China, Russia, the US, and the West all simultaneously. It's a tough balancing act, but it's working. When the West sanctioned Russia, India was still buying Russian oil at a discounted rate. In fact, we were refining this Russian oil and selling it to Europe in the form of petroleum. India's historic relationship with Russia stays strong, but at the same time, we are also strengthening our relationship with Europe and the US. India is also a major part of Quad, which is India, US, Japan, and Australia, with the aim of countering China's Indo-Pacific influence. However, at the same time, India also collaborates with China in terms of bilateral trade and in BRICS. Isn't that amazing? Through strategic autonomy, India is earning the reputation of a global mediator, someone who talks to all but sides with none. Beyond geopolitics, let us also not forget about other forms of soft power. In this context, let me talk about three such recent phenomena. Firstly, vaccine Maitri during COVID. India supplied over 250 million vaccine doses to countries in need. The humanitarian effort went a long way in strengthening our global image. Second one is that yoga and Ayurveda are now global wellness trends, with June 21st officially recognized by the UN as International Yoga Day. Lastly, Indian festivals, music, and cuisine are becoming global cultural staples. After India and China, what is going to be the one region of the world that's going to be a source of global economic growth? Most likely, it's going to be Africa, which is precisely why a lot of countries are investing very heavily in Africa, especially China. Thankfully, our engagement with Africa is also on the rise. From investing in infrastructure and agriculture to offering educational scholarships and skill development, India is gaining strong goodwill in the continent. Unlike China's debt-driven approach, India offers equal partnership. Finally, now addressing my hypocrisy. Many of you might call me a hypocrite for first making a video on why India will fail and now kind of talking about the reasons why India will rise and become a Sone Ki Chiriya once again. Well, these two videos are not mutually exclusive. India has its problems that need to be addressed, and that is precisely what the previous video was about. And unless we address those problems, we're going to be in a dire situation. But every major economy that has risen in history, be it China, US, or Japan, they've all had problems that they did deal with. And as a result of dealing with those problems, they rose to prominence. And India will have the same story. Yes, there are problems that we need to solve, but once those problems are solved, we'll be unstoppable. We will go back to the days of being Sone Ki Chiriya and a global superpower once again. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it useful. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.